traveling, and they will be gathering with loved ones and engaging in outdoor activities. So it is therefore very critical that communities and decision makers in all sectors of society are adequately informed about the potential risk that weather could hold. So this briefing follows the successful conclusion of the early warning roadmap for all. And we would just like to give you an overview of what it is that we will be expecting. However, we would like to give you also to touch on certain conditions that has taken place and that really would emphasize why it is important that members of the public should be following the weather alerts that will be issued as and when needed. So this briefing takes place against a sombering backdrop of several severe weather events experienced from the late to late spring into the onset of summer. And it includes the heavy rainfall that was recently experienced in KwaZulu-Natal Midlands, resulting in widespread flooding in certain municipalities, and that has also tragically led to the loss of life and extensive damages to infrastructure. In other events, severe thunderstorms affected Gauteng, Mpumalanga, and Limpopo, and it brought large hail, intensive downpours, strong winds, with the northern parts of Gauteng and adjacent areas of Limpopo amongst the hardest hit. And these incidents, rounded off this year, it's marked by profound loss, included the devastating rainfall and flooding in parts of the Eastern Cape, where more than 100 people lost their lives, including residents of rural communities in areas in Mthatha. So once again, the South African Weather Service extends its deepest sympathy to the families and the communities who lost loved ones during these tragic events. We honor their memory by strengthening our collective resolve to reduce future loss of life and damage to properties through effective early warnings and preparedness and response. So we're going to give a brief overview on the seasonal climate outlook. As we look ahead to the coming months, the South African Weather Service, through its disaster risk reduction function, has released its latest seasonal and climate outlook for 2025-2026 summer season, covering the periods from December 2025 to April 2026. The forecasts indicate a transition towards a weak La Niña state, which is expected to influence rainfall, temperature patterns across the country. La Niña refers to the pattern where the waters in the central and eastern Pacific Ocean become cooler than normal. This cooling changes the global wind and weather patterns. It typically brings above normal summer rainfall to the northeastern parts of South Africa, such as Gauteng, Limpopo, Mpumalanga, and KwaZulu-Natal, also parts of the Northwest Province, as well as the Free State. Climate model predictions suggest an increased likelihood of above normal rainfall over these central and eastern parts of the country. These wetter than usual conditions are consistent with the typical impacts associated with La Niña episodes and expected to persist to mid to late summer. From the disaster risk reduction perspective, the anticipated rainfall may bring positive impacts for water resources and agriculture, but it also raises the risk of localized flooding, particularly in flood-prone areas, informal settlements, and regions with poor draining infrastructure. Communities are therefore urged to remain vigilant, especially during periods of persistent and intense rainfall. Looking ahead to the festive season, including Christmas and New Year, the South African Weather Service expects partly cloudy, warm to cool conditions across most parts of the country. Isolated to scattered thunder showers are anticipated mainly over the central and the eastern parts of South Africa. Thunderstorm activities is expected to occur primarily in the afternoon, although periods of increased moisture may result in morning showers in certain areas. Much of the rainfall during this period will be associated with afternoon and evening thunderstorms, which may at times be accompanied by heavy downpours, lightning, and gusty winds. So the public is strongly urged to take serious the warnings issued, as they play a critical role in the reduction in injury, loss of life, or property damage. It is of utmost importance for the public, particularly the vulnerable communities, to regularly consult credible weather forecasts and warning sources for the developments and take appropriate action as part of their daily routines. Such sources includes the radio updates, the television, and the South African Weather Service website and social media platforms. As recent history tells us, this can be a matter of life and death. Yesterday's impacts clearly demonstrated how quickly the weather conditions can deteriorate once thunderstorms intensify. So residents are encouraged to seek shelter during thunderstorm approaching. Move your vehicles under a cover wherever possible. Avoid driving through flooded roads. Report fallen trees, flooding or damages to municipal authorities. Avoid crossing flooded bridges. Stay informed by following the official South African Weather Service platforms. Take necessary precautions during thunderstorm activity. Ensure festive travel plans consider the changing weather conditions. The South African Weather Service will continue to closely monitor the evolving weather and climate conditions while providing weekly updates and early warnings where necessary to support public safety and preparedness. In closing, let me stress the point that the South African Weather Service urges all communities to make checking the latest weather forecast and official warnings a regular habit, especially during this period of heightened weather risk. Information should be sourced from credible platforms, including the South African Weather Service channels, trusted media partners, as well as the disaster management authorities. By staying informed and heeding early warnings, we can all play a role in reducing the impact of severe weather. We wish everyone a safe, peaceful, and enjoyable festive season, free from weather-related disasters, and looking forward to continued cooperation in safeguarding lives and livelihoods across our country. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was J.P. Mugiga, who's a senior forecaster at the South African Weather Service. I'm handing over to the next speaker as well, also from South African Weather Service.
So, good morning and thanks for the time. Beautiful presentation. I think I can't lower any of the things that Jackie has spoken about, but one thing that we here to mention is that I'll start for today. We're still having a scattered to a widespread chance of showers and thunder showers. This is expected over the eastern parts, and when we talk about the eastern parts, we include KwaZulu-Natal, the Free State, Gauteng, Mpumalanga, as well as parts of the northwest into Limpopo. We have several warnings. Here, most of them are for severe thunderstorms, significant mainly over the northern parts of Gauteng into the southwestern parts of Mpumalanga, which also covers the Highveld. It is a yellow level 4 warning, which means it's a low likelihood, but the significant impacts are expected, which are expected to result in heavy downpours that lead to localized flooding, a possibility of damaging winds, as well as a possibility of hail and excessive lightning over those areas. Now, once we stick to the eastern parts, 80% chance of rain and showers is still expected in KwaZulu-Natal. This is still for today, and we're still expecting more severe thunderstorms to stretch into the central interior, into the western parts of KwaZulu-Natal. This will cover Newcastle and parts over the central interior. So do expect more of the thunderstorms, which may result in heavy downpours and lead to localized flooding. Stretching into tomorrow, we see that band of showers and thunder showers moving into the northwest. It is a 60% chance of showers and thunder showers into the afternoon, especially in the northwest. 30% mainly over the central parts into the eastern areas, which would cover the Free State, the northwest, and Gauteng is also included. However, in our warnings for tomorrow, it is a yellow level 2 warning for the northwest, and it is a high likelihood of minor impacts that are expected, still including heavy downpours that lead to localized flooding, more damaging winds, as well as a possibility of hail and excessive lightning. Stretching to the northeastern parts of the Eastern Cape, that's where we still also have a yellow level 2 warning of severe thunderstorms. So from today into the weekend, you can still expect isolated to a scattered chance of showers and thunder showers, more confined to the central and the eastern parts of the country. For the southwestern interior, you can expect some fine conditions, hot in some places, especially in the Western Cape into the Northern Cape. That's we're expecting quite warm conditions with some windy conditions and a possibility of some felt fires, which may result in some runaway fires. So if you also see some unnecessary fires, report them to your necessary authorities. Once we get to most parts of the Saturday into Sunday, still scattered to its 80% chance of showers and thunder showers, but the 80s mainly in KwaZulu-Natal, which will also stretch into much parts of the southern areas of Mpumalanga. All going for Christmas food, and it's going to be nice. But it looks like in the afternoon you might still see a 60% chance of showers and thunder showers, especially in Gauteng, Mpumalanga, as well as into KwaZulu-Natal. Mainly isolated for the central and the eastern parts of the country, but we're still yet to see and monitor the situation. It's still a medium-term likelihood, but do remember that with these percentages, we're speaking about the likelihood of the rain happening, and should it happen, you are better prepared to definitely make any decisions depending on where you're going. So we're still expecting more of afternoon thunderstorms, and if we have enough moisture, we'll continue monitoring and issuing weather warnings. So do be in the lookout on what we issue out in the weather service, as well as in any other media platforms that are credible, and take that into consideration. Have a blessed festive season, and I think I'll end there and wait for more questions.
Thank you. That was Leswaronolo Tobela, who is a forecaster at the South African Weather Service. And we move over to Kobus Olivier.
Let me just maybe seats also.
Right, morning everyone. Just a quick update with regards to the seasonal forecast. Some of you may remember when we had the briefing back in September, we highlighted our confidence of the La Nina event that's currently in a cool phase to have a significant impact on our rainfall, specifically in spring and summer. And in fact, that's, if we look back at spring rainfall, we actually had one of the wettest in the last 45 years spring rainfall for the central parts and the northeastern parts. So that was our briefing that we had in September, and again now the latest updated forecast, as we've seen in the press briefing now, for the again the summer rainfall areas, the central and northeastern parts. We still expect with quite a high confidence of the summer season, so in this case we're talking about the December, January, February season specifically, to be above normal for most parts of the summer rainfall areas, which again is the central to northeastern parts. Again, just more confidence for that to occur. We do not expect, however, for this to extend much further than the midsummer, again the December, January, February season. We do not expect that the La Nina to last that long and its impact to last that long past the midsummer season. And that's pretty much the update for seasonal forecast. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we'll open now for the questions and answer session. Please remember to introduce yourself as well as the media house you're representing. We have the first name there. Over to you.
I'm FC Belson, never appeared in Twitter. So obviously a lot of people are going to the beach now. Some of them are already on the beach. Are they going to enjoy their stay at the sea, or are they going to rain out?
Stop smiling about it, guys.
I mean, it's a beautiful question, but if they're gonna enjoy that we can't answer. But I can just say that they can expect some rain over those areas, especially in the East Coast, into the adjacent interior, like most parts of the eastern half of the Eastern Cape. Most of those areas are yet to still experience more rain with all these moisture and more humid conditions. So I hope they enjoy, but they must be safe in their enjoying, because we've seen what thunderstorms can do. It's not only rain that we worry about. There are damaging winds. In the severity of its end of a severe thunderstorm, you may even have an impact such as a tornado going over the area. So it's not only main on rain or what it is. Sometimes it also, with temperatures going high and low, people get sick. So I think in all the enjoyment, I know it's festive and we all want to have fun. Just be aware of the weather conditions and keep in check. Don't have fun without looking at the weather. Sometimes weddings get messed up because the rain just rains, and as meteorologists sometimes we attend weddings and they look at us and be like, you had one job. And yeah, one thing I can say is we definitely going to see more rain in the eastern part, so be aware for that.
So the Western Cape, however, is a different story because for them summer is still summering. So the Western Cape beachgoers will probably have a much better experience than those in the east, like the eastern half of the Eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal. And then they must also be cautioned because this time of the year, temperatures at times can also be quite high. So there's always that risk that people need to keep in mind, that when temperatures are too high, that it poses a risk, especially for younger children and the elderly. So heat stroke is a real thing. So that is just some of the things that beachgoers should be keeping in mind when it comes to them enjoying their festivities. But I guess as beachgoers, the Western Cape is winning this round.
Yeah.
Okay, we do have a couple of hands, but Jackie, remember when you speak, just come closer to the mic. All right, I'll take, we had? Okay, all right.
Madeleine Tetwa for SABC News. And my question is directed towards Cobus Olivier, the scientist. When you say that you did not expect the La Nina to last for such an extended period, what is the normal time, for lack of a better word?
So generally, in this case, we are expecting quite a weak La Nina to occur. So that means it's only going to be considered a La Nina state for maybe a month or two, and then it will go back into neutral state. Usually, if it's a moderate to a strong La Nina, they could last for up to 2 years. So in this case, we only really expect it to be in a La Nina phase for about a month or two, then go back into neutral phase, and we only really expect only those couple of months of impact for Southern Africa. But in some cases, when we have a strong La Nina, again, that can last for up to 2 years, 1.5 to 2 years, if it's a really strong, consistent La Nina state, which is not what we expect in this case. The most predictions indicate for it to only last for about 1 or 2 months, and it goes back into neutral state, and then we don't expect any impact further on. So for South Africa specifically, we only really expect for about 1 season impact from the La Nina, 1 or 2 seasons impact on our rainfall for South Africa.
And is this the first time that we're having a protracted La Nina?
No, these have been happening in the last 30, 40 years quite constantly. So we've had, I think, in the region of 6 or 7 weak La Ninas and 4 or 5 moderate to strong La Ninas. So it happens quite often, just at various strength levels. If you want to be either weak or moderate or strong La Ninas.
Thank you. Next thing.
I'm Mariska Kitzer from the Citizen. Hello, my panel and my colleagues. I want to know, is there a difference between a thunderstorm and a lightning storm? And I've also noticed, especially yesterday, the storm here over Pretoria East, there's severe lightning happening. So I just, my question basically is this accompanied with these severe storms, or is there actually something like lightning storms, and does it get measured? Just tell us a bit more about, thunder, being thunderstruck.
Okay. Do you want to go, Mama Jakes, or should I take
Yeah.
it?
No problem. Move closer to the mic. There is thunderstorms that can produce lightning. Whether lightning will be the predominant feature that will occur or phenomena during the thunderstorm, it depends on the air mass. So if it has been hotter and a little bit drier and thunderstorms start developing and the air mass is relatively dry, especially in the lower levels, it creates quite a bit of static, and that is why lightning might be more heightened. But there is no difference. Lightning cannot occur outside of a thunderstorm. It's one of the byproducts of a thunderstorm.
And it's in the name, thunderstorm.
Any more hands? Okay, Opa, do we have media statements maybe to share after this? Or
Yes, we do.
okay, all right. I think for colleagues who are looking for more information on what was shared, can get that from the media statement. Other than that, this is where we wrap it for this morning. Thank you so much for attending. And let me take this opportunity to tell you as well that from the National Press Club side, we're opening up the Newsmaker and Journalist of the Year competition for 2025, which is usually announced in February 2020, or the following year, which will be 2026. We do have various categories. I see photographers, photojournalists, cameramen, reporters. Last year, the Journalist of the Year was won by Skonati Machanja, and he won himself 180,000. And the category winners won 30,000 rand each. So as soon as applications open, I invite you all to enter. Information will be on our social media pages. Thank you so much. We have refreshments downstairs, and that's it for this morning. Thank you.
85,000.
Let's start with
You made it.
I didn't know what to expect. Like
very
this
well.
literally dropped on my lap at
Yeah.
8 o'clock last night.
I didn't even know I was the representative. But we did well. Very well. Very well.